Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Devashesha Punyavari Asyadya Dishvatayane Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Namane Namo Vishnu Padaya Ashaya Simha Rupine Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Iti Namane. First of all, I offer my most humble obeisances at the divine lotus feet of my Guru Parapadma, Asatara Satta Sri Srimad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Maharaja, on his disappearing day. Then again, I offer my most humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my Shiksha and Sannyas Guru, Param Pujyapad Sri Srimad 108, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And then I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Rupanuga Guru Varga, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and all of the previous acharyas who have blessed us with their mercy. I offer my obeisances unto all of the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis present here today, headed by the Sannyasi Gam Dandavat Pranam. So, it is difficult sometimes for me on this particular day to speak, because I was present on the day when my Srila Prabhupada left this world. He was such an extraordinary personality, and how he appeared on the surface, as we've been hearing from the previous speakers, and we know from our readings in the past, that he appeared like an ordinary household, like an ordinary person, just living an ordinary life, having a family, doing business, going to school, etc. But yet, he took one single thing in his life, and it took that one thing and made it his entire life. And that was the order of his Guru Maharaj. The order of his Guru Maharaj was very simple: that you should preach in the Western world, that you should preach in the English language. He told it to him in the first meeting, the very first meeting. He gave him this instruction. And Srila Prabhupada remarked in a letter to Srimati Shamarani that the eternal relationship between myself and my spiritual master began on that day when I first heard his transcendental instructions, when I first heard from him. Of course, later in the Brajmandal Parikram, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur instructed him that after I leave, there will be a fire at the Gaudiya Math. And then he said, remember, if you ever get money, then print books. And of course, at the end, in the last 2 weeks, he got that letter that you please preach this mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Western world. So he took that order. That became his life. Nothing else was important to him. He focused completely on this one instruction, that I should preach this mission in the West. And amongst all of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, it was always understood between him and Srila Saraswati Thakur that he would be that person to carry the mission to the Western world and to preach all over the world. It was always understood. Many times, there are many different incidents. Once, of course, when he got initiated, they asked, so what service will you give him? Srila Saraswati Thakur said, in time he will do everything. Then in Bombay, when he helped to establish the mutt, one brahmachari was present when Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked Srila Saraswati Thakur that you should make Abai the person in charge of this mutt. And Srila Saraswati Thakur said, no, I have much bigger service for him. And then, during that time in Bombay, when Srila Saraswati Thakur and the other devotees were discussing who will be the next person to go to the West now that Ban Maharaj has returned. Well, at that time, Srila Saraswati Thakur had suggested one other person, but that person was very fearful of going to the West to preach. And so Srila Saraswati Thakur said, no, don't worry. You don't have to go. He said, besides, Abai will do everything. He will go, and he will do it. So in many ways, and even in the last parikrama in Navadvip in 1936, Srila Saraswati Thakur was discussing this point of how Ban Maharaj had gone, then Srila Ban Maharaj had gone, then Srila Goswami Maharaj had gone. And he was talking about how it was the desire of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be preached in the Western world. And then he said that my saintly mother, Bhagavati Devi, requested me on her deathbed that you please see that the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is preached in the Western world. So, at that time, Srila Saraswati Thakur noted that although we have spent the lifeblood of Gaudiya Math to send preachers to the West, as of now it has not been completely successful because his conception of the success was that we could establish some months in the West where we had devotees who were preaching the mission, and that had not been accomplished yet. So, at that time, the person who was relating the story, Nayana Baba, who was Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Swami Maharaj's godbrother, he said at that time Srila Saraswati Thakur turned and he was looking to the side, and he started looking directly at Srila Prabhupada, Bhaichara Aravinda, and they looked at each other in a very deep and meaningful way for some time. And then Srila Saraswati Thakur turned back to the crowd and he said, I have a prediction to make today. That whosoever shall go to the West to preach, no matter how long it takes for this person to go, when he goes, he will bring back the whole world. In this way, it was always understood this mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be preached in the Western world by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. That he would be the one to carry on this legacy that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Saraswati Thakur had reestablished in their preaching mission. And that they had prayed for to happen in the Western world. That was their deep yearning and desire for it to happen. So, Srila Prabhupada made this his life, this order, this instruction. And he associated with those persons who followed the orders of Srila Saraswati Thakur. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he wrote that after the disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there were two groups. One who did not follow the order of Srila Prabhupada, and one group that followed that order of Srila Prabhupada, followed the orders of Srila Prabhupada. So that group has to be Srila Bhakti-Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, because Srila Prabhupada agreed to start the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti with him, sign the documents, and establish that organization. Therefore, by this, Srila Prabhupada is giving his appreciation, support, and service to that person whom he has declared in his purports as the one who was following the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He took sannyas from him, he associated with him, and he had great affection for one of his most dear disciples, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada always made his life about following this order. When he came to the Western world, he approached the preaching mission with great humility. The stories are legendary of how, in the beginning, he would cook the meals in New York at this place. And after cooking the meal, he would serve it to the young men and women. They would eat. Then he would send them to rest. Then he would take all their plates and all the cooking utensils and clean them with his own hands. He never asked anyone to help him. Only when one person offered, "Oh, can I help you, Swami?" did he then come forward and say, "Yes, you can help me. You can also." In this way, he showed us the path of how to endear oneself to others by very humbly offering service, love, and affection. Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, he wrote in one letter to Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, he said, "In the meeting with my Guru Maharaj, this is the first time I felt loved. I understood the meaning of love. Because in this world, love means I will render some service to you so that I can get you to render some service to me. I will do something for you so that you can satisfy my senses, so I will satisfy your senses." But Srila Saraswati Thakur, he gave this definition that the tendency to give pleasure to Krishna, this is bhakti. And so when Srila Saraswati Thakur looked at Srila Prabhupada that day in 1922, he saw, here is one beautiful jiva, one flower they can offer at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna to satisfy his senses. This is love. This is real love. And Srila Prabhupada felt that love. And he said in that lesson that in the same way as my Guru Maharaj expressed such love to me on first sight of me, on first sight of you, I also felt such love and affection for you. And so their relationship was very deep from first sight. So, when Srila Prabhupada preached throughout the Western world, there were many, many difficulties, many challenges, many, many obstacles. But he faced each obstacle with great determination. He never turned back. He wrote one letter to my godbrother one time, and he said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted that this mission will be preached in every town and village of the world. He said, he is God, so he can never be wrong. What he speaks must come true. He said, somehow or other, by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, I am engaged in doing this service of spreading the mission all over the world. He said, and if you help me, then you will also get some credit. He said, but you should know for certain that even if all of you leave me tomorrow, still this prediction will come true. Only somebody else will help, and they will get the credit. Srila Prabhupada's determination was unstoppable. Unstoppable. He knew, I have been given this order, and as long as I have pure Guru Nishta, faith in this order, that all the power of Krishna and Guru is with me, and I can accomplish anything. When he sat on the park bench in 1965, when he used to walk up and down the river on the west side, he was all alone at that time. He had just arrived in America. He was living with Dr. Mishra. He would take his walk by the riverside there. And there was one elderly gentleman who used to sit on the park bench and sometimes see him. So when my godbrother went to, was walking up and down on 1977, 1978 to write the biography, he met this man and he said, did you know Swami Prabhupada? He said, oh yeah, I met him. I remember him. He said he used to walk up and down all the time here, and he'd sit and talk with me. So he said, well, what did you discuss? And he said, well, he would ask me how old I was, and where I came from, and how many children I have, and what my family was like. Then he would tell me about his family. One day he said that he asked me if I had all my teeth, and I told him, no, I'm missing so many teeth. And then he opened his mouth and said, see, even though I'm 70, I have all my teeth. But then one day, he said, I asked him, so who are you? What are you doing? He said, I have a big worldwide mission. I have 100 temples all over the world and thousands of disciples. And I've printed over 100 books, and they're being distributed by the millions everywhere. And he said, but I never heard of you. He said, I've never seen these things. He said, yes, they're all there. I'm simply separated from them by time. But he always knew, Srila Prabhupada always knew, that this is my future. That this is what will manifest. That this will happen. This is the power of Sri Krishna and Sri Guru that was invested in Srila Prabhupada. And he distributed that power. Once here in Vrindavan, when he brought the first group of devotees to the West, he told them, he said, this is here in Radha Damodar is where I prepared to preach in the Western world. This is where I prepared my mission. So one of the disciples, my godbrothers, asked, well, how should we prepare? Prabhupada said, you don't have to prepare. I am directly empowering you. This is the power of Gurudev. The Guru gives the power, and Srila Prabhupada understood this. He understood that the power is coming from my Guru Maharaj and from following his order, and therefore I can never deviate from the order of my Guru. Srila Prabhupada told one man who used to come and visit him there at Radha Damodar. He was weeping one morning. That man used to come and visit him regularly. So the man asked him, "Why are you weeping?" He said, "This morning, when I was doing my bhajan at Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, Srila Saraswati Thakur, my Gurudev, came to see me. And also Rupa Goswami came to see me. And they told me, 'Why are you here? Why are you just staying here? Now we have prepared everything. It is all ready for you. You go. Go immediately and begin your preaching.' And he went. He went and he lived in very difficult circumstances. They stole his typewriter. They stole his original manuscript of Gita. He got another one. He typed it over. One crazy drug hippie beat him one time in the apartment. Still, he never left. He never gave up the mission of his Guru Maharaj, no matter how many difficulties. Walking in the Bowery. The Bowery was such a place that when I was a young man, I was a big, strong young man, I was afraid to go to the Bowery. It was so dangerous. And he was walking there. He was walking there with no fear. Abhaya, fearless. So Srila Prabhupada, he preached all over the world, everywhere in the world. He preached in Japan, in the Philippines, in Hong Kong, in Australia, in Malaysia, in India, in Russia. He preached in Africa, in East Africa and South Africa. He preached all over America, Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, Europe, in many different countries of Europe, England and Germany and France and Italy, all over, Amsterdam, everywhere. Throughout the entire world, Srila Prabhupada has preached everywhere. He started many, many temples, 108 temples. By the time he left, there was over 108 temples established all over the world. This was what Srila Saraswati Thakur wanted, that there should be actually temples where people were becoming devotees and taking up the process of bhakti. And this Srila Prabhupada established. This he did. And so the fulfillment of this prediction of Srila Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know, in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat, there are 3 stories. One is how Nityananda asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, "I want you should give this mercy to all the Jagais and Madhais of the world." And there's one story where Advaitacharya asked that, "I want you should give this mercy to the Malechas and Yavanas of the world, not just the people of India." And then Vasudev Dutt said, "I want that you should liberate everyone in the whole universe, and I will stay here and suffer for their sins and let them all go back to God." So these 3 requests of these 3 pure devotees were fulfilled by Srila Prabhupada. He was the one who brought this mission throughout the entire world, distributing books everywhere, preaching everywhere, even in countries he didn't go. I remember once when I came to Kenya, and I met Srila Prabhupada there, and he asked me, "Did you fly through Greece?" I said, "No, Srila Prabhupada, I flew directly from London." So he said, "When I came here, I stopped in Greece." He said, "And we don't have anybody preaching there. But as soon as they saw me, everyone started chanting Hare Krishna. In the airport, everyone was going, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna." So even in places where we had no devotee, they knew who was Srila Prabhupada and what his mission of Hare Krishna. This was the power of Srila Prabhupada, how he preached all over the world. I'm going to give one analogy and then I'm going to end. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gave this analogy that after the Buddhist Dharma had been established in India and Vedic Dharma had been removed, that in order to reestablish the temple of love of Godhead, first, Shankaracharya was sent to build the foundation of reestablishing the Vedas. And then, Madhva and Ramanuja Acharyas were sent in order to build the structure of the temple of love of God. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came himself to install the deity of praying in the temple of love of God. So I have added two things to this analogy. That it was by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Rupanuga Guru Varga, it was His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada who brought the whole world to take darshan of this deity in the temple of God. Now there's one further extension. Because after Srila Prabhupada brought everybody there, he had to leave untimely. I do not want to discuss this matter. But if he had spent some more years, he could have given us some more intimate and deep instructions. So he looked around to find that person who could continue the mission. And who else could he turn to but the person whom he saw with love, the way Srila Saraswati saw him with love so many years earlier. Therefore, I could understand that the one who Srila Prabhupada picked to instruct us what is the meaning of the deity of praying in the temple of love of Godhead was Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. We are so fortunate that we got the association of Srila Prabhupada. I don't know what I did. I was just a street boy. But somehow I got lucky. I got the association with Prabhupada. And then the association of Srila Prabhupada. And the association of Srila Gurudev. I don't know how I could get so much good fortune in my life. But somehow I got this one. So try to take this one thing from Prabhupada's life. Follow the order of the Guru with complete Guru Nishtha. Then your life will be successful. This was his recipe for success, and this is the only recipe for success.
Now we request Srila Bhaktivedanta Sudadvaiti Maharaj to come and glorify Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Diveshesha Shinivani Prashata Deshatai. I'm just an insignificant disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and we're trying to be brief. Trying to say something about his unlimited glories. When I saw Srila Prabhupada the first time in France in 1973, I was just coming back from India. I was a Bhakti impersonalist. But when I saw him, I saw a mountain of power. power of love. Many scholars have written, one in particular, that this is the first time since the time of the Roman Empire that a religion from the East has been practiced in the streets of the Western world. But none of us felt that we joined a religion when we joined the mission of Srila Prabhupada. We joined because he was a person who was giving love like the sun is giving heat. Everyone is looking for love in this world. And Srila Prabhupada has this uncanny ability to make every one of his disciples feel that, oh, love that you're looking for, it is available. So Srila Prabhupada, he took on this task given to him by his spiritual master to extend that love that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give and to bring it to every door in the whole world. So I worship him who took from his heart, manifested from his heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha Krishna, the king and queen of Vrindavan, took them from his heart, manifested from his heart, and brought them to the entire world. Prabhupada convinced us that our spiritual life was people's spiritual life. He made it very clear. I remember one of my godbrother, Yogeshwar from America, who was one of the first preachers in France. And then one time he asked Prabhupada, oh, Prabhupada, what about my spiritual progress, my spiritual life? Prabhupada answered, your spiritual life is their spiritual life. Meaning, if you practice your self-Krishna consciousness and you give it to others, your spiritual progress is guaranteed. So as previous speakers have said, Prabhupada made an army of preachers. He came, and the amazing thing is that us, Westerners, who are very free-minded, we were addicted to hedonism. We were not following any rules and regulations except the dictations of our mind. Prabhupada made us follow very, very strict sadhana rules. But he made it in such an amazing way, following the recipe given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Mana Krishna Niveshaya. Somehow or another become Krishna conscious. Then Sarve Vidi Nishida Shura Etayore Kinkara. Then all the rules and regulations will follow. Like the Kinkaras, the servants are following the master. Even the first time Prabhupada gave initiations, he did not tell the disciples they were supposed to follow 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds. It's only the next morning they saw on the door of the temple room, all new initiated devotees must follow these 4 principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, and chant 16 rounds a day. He did not even tell them before. That was his trick, transcendental trick. But Prabhupada was so loving that there was no way you could resist his love. He made you really feel that you were in front of someone who had genuine interest in you, no business I scratch you back, you scratch my back. Not this type of love. Completely free given. Because the Guru is he who is extending the love of Krishna to the conditioned souls. You could say that Krishna like a general love for everyone. But when you come in touch with this pure representative, that love becomes very specific. He really manifests it. And Prabhupada was empowered to do that. Make everyone feel that love. And he presented himself in such an unassuming way, such a humble way. One time in the airport, there was big reception of Prabhupada, and the authorities became annoyed. They said, okay, everyone should vacate the place. So they said, all devotees, someone got on a chair, said, all devotees, please get up. And Prabhupada, like everyone, he simply got up, like if he was just back down. That's Prabhupada. He just got up simply. Prabhupada was sometimes waiting in line to go to the shower in the early days. Imagine someone sent by the spiritual world to bring us to them. He was waiting in line simply to take his shower after some hippies were joined a few days before. Like that. No no conception of no ego. Oh, I am the Guru. At the same time, when it came to preach, Prabhupada did not mix his words. No. He was using very strong words. Rascal was one of his favorite ones. But these rascals, they do not know, therefore they are demons. Prabhupada said, very heavy words. And he said, I'm not saying, Krishna Bhagavad Gita is saying, I'm not saying those words. Who am I to speak like that? Krishna says, anyone who doesn't want to surrender to Krishna, somehow or another, is one kind of rascal. He's a Duskritina. Bhagavad Gita is there. Nama Duskritina Muda, Prabhupada Naradama. I'm not saying, Bhagavad Gita is saying. And Prabhupada established that faith in us, that if you don't surrender to Krishna, what are you doing with your life? At the same time, he made it so easy, so accessible. No. Step by step, he was pulling from his transcendental hat, like a magician, so many new items. No. Oh, Tulasi, he introduced. No one did Tulasi before. And then you have everyone starting to go around this strange plant. You know, for us Westerners, it's like, what am I doing? There was one, remember I was a new devotee. What am I doing here? I'm turning around the plant, you know, at 4 o'clock in the morning. Then he introduced another one from the hat, Lord Nishingade. And I was thinking, who is that on the altar? No, with the lion head and the... But it was coming from Prabhupada, presented as a matter of fact, and we all bought it, lock, stock and barrel. Everything he gave, we accepted. Now some people, they say, oh, Prabhupada only preached the basics. No, everything is there in Prabhupada. If you take the nectar of devotion, the most intimate things are given there. Now, Krishna in the morning, reminding of Srimati Radhika of the love pastime of the night, Prabhupada has written it there. Krishna, painting Makari, dolphins or sea monster, the symbol of Jubilee on the breast of Srimati Radhika. Prabhupada wrote this in the nectar of devotion. So what is that? Is that Vedic Bhakti? The artist song Prabhupada introduced, is that Vedic Bhakti? Morae, Abilas, Vilas, Kunjati, Ovas. We used to repeat without knowing what we were saying really. But Prabhupada was putting all those seeds, transcendental seeds in our heart. No. Vilas, Kunjati, Ovas, Nayane, Erikos, Sadai, Yuga, Luparas. Oh, my desire is to be there in the Nikunj of Vrindavan, watching the Leelas of Radha Krishna. This is directly what the Mancharis are doing. If you read Rasa literature, this is what they're doing. Peeping through the slits of the Kunja to see the divine couple in their loving embrace. This is what Prabhupada was making us sing every morning, turning around the plant, the holy Tulsi. So Prabhupada introduced everything, but it took some time before someone else after him. Within his movement, Srila Govinda Maharaj, outside Srila Bhakti-Lakshmi Maharaj, and now Srila Gurudev, to join the dots, or to put the dots on the I and the cross on the keys. It was all there, but we're such babies, such infants in the spiritual life. We didn't know exactly what we were doing, but we had full faith. Prabhupada gave it, this is the absolute truth. And you had that former hippies after 3 months, shaven head, bright face, going in the street and preaching with so much conviction what they had heard from Prabhupada, and that accepted that this is the absolute truth. Prabhupada gave us that conviction. This is the absolute truth. He made us follow step by step the process of sadhana bhakti, and he made us believe, oh, in this one lifetime we can go back to God. One life. Prabhupada was such a transcendental trickster. In one life you can make it back to God. And if you don't make it this life, oh, you blew it, you missed it. So he gave us that conviction. He gave us that determination. If you do as I'm telling you to do, simply follow, then you will come to perfection. And of course, if you read his books scrutinizingly, you will find here and there, oh, it may take some lives, but that was not the preaching. The preaching was in one life, in this life, I guarantee if you follow me, I'll take you back to God. And Prabhupada had a transcendental weapon, prashadam. That was Prabhupada said, I did not any other means. My movement was successful only because of the love feast. No. He said, if you advertise, oh, come, Hare Krishna is there, people will not come. Let's go, Hare Krishna mantra is there. What do they know about Hare Krishna? But he said, no, make it so nice, such nice prasadam. But oh, see a very nice love feast there, such nice food is given. And Prabhupada knew he had such faith. If simply they take prasadam, prasadam will act. And so many people became devotees, not by philosophy, not drugs, not hippies, not coming to the temple, stoned, having taken some drugs. It was a big thing in Amsterdam or Paris. Take some LSD and go to the Hare Krishna temple in the kirtan. It's a special, slant to the happiness. People were coming just on purpose. You take drugs and you go see this Pharaoh deities, Jagannath with big round eyes, and you look at his eyes, and then you go inside and you just, all this hodgepodge we had. But Prabhupada somehow, by the prasadam, he brought us to the temple and taking prasadam. And the magic, I never thought the magic could add, take some cauliflower, dip in some batter, make it fried, and it becomes what? A pakora. I didn't use that in the West. What is the pakora? What is the samosa? Prabhupada made that, and he, of course, gave us a trick by offering it to Krishna. The taste became completely different, and we became addicted. So I remember so many people I was preaching to on the Sunday feast. After a few feasts, a few months, then they joined and shepherd. I would preach to them, hippies, and try to convince them, chant, what do you get by smoking or LSD or whatever, and then by the prasadam, they would become devotees. So Prabhupada made something that no one else could do. He was specifically empowered to present philosophy in a way that we could digest it. If you read the books of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Thakur, it's so difficult to grasp, especially at that time. But Prabhupada chewed like a mother bird, he's feeding his baby chicks. Prabhupada chewed the philosophy and presented it in such a way that we could understand, oh, I am not this body, Krishna is God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came through the chanting, you can purify your heart and reach love of God. Prabhupada made it very, very easy and feasible. Before I was practicing some other kind of yoga, very difficult. Ashtanga yoga, oh, no hope. Prabhupada, very easily. Now, immediate result. You follow the recipe, you get the result. And we developed that phase, and due to that phase, we were instruments of Srila Prabhupada to spread it all over the world.
Now we're calling on Prabhupadas Maharaja. We're going to have the Pushpanjali after this speaker, so please everyone stay for the Pushpanjali of Srila Prabhupada. Yanhivinandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namah Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayani Namane Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Vasandabhyayevacha Puritanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Gurudev ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So very fortunate to be gathered here at the foot of Shri Giriraj Govardhan in the presence of our beloved Srila Gurudev. Remembering, glorifying the transcendental qualities of our beloved Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. One speaker yesterday pointed out that actually we can't glorify such personalities. It's like when the moon came out of the ocean of milk, so the fish were thinking, oh, this is one of us. But these transcendental personalities are not on our plane at all. So I'll try and say something about what I've seen, some qualities I've seen from my limited point of view. I've seen a little of what my beloved Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, did, but who he is, I don't know. But I pray that one day, by his grace, and by the grace of our Guru Parampara, that I'll be able to associate with him very intimately in service and know more fully this very wonderful personality who came into our lives. Some outstanding qualities of Srila Prabhupada. First is his Guru Nishtha. He was a leader because he was a follower. When he met his Guru Maharaj, 1922, in Calcutta, so his Guru Maharaj defeated him in debate, we've already heard. And he said, you should preach in English. And he took this instruction as his life and soul. Later on, we've also heard, just before Srila Saraswati Prabhupada passed away, he repeated this instruction. My Guru Maharaj said, somehow or other I a little forgot that. And then when he was taking sannyas at Shikeshri Gaudiyama, suddenly he remembered this instruction from his spiritual master. So when it came time to speak after the sannyas ceremony, he started speaking in English. So devotees there said, Swamiji, they'd given him this name, Swami. I thought his name was Bhaktivedanta. It wasn't until I came to Sri Gurudev Sangha that I found out that actually my Guru Maharaj's name was Swami Maharaj. So he said, Swamiji, why are you speaking in English? Nobody here speaks English. He said, I'm practicing. So he had this nishtha. And when Srila Saraswati Prabhupada appeared to him when he was performing parikrama. He said, why are you staying here? We've made all the arrangements, you have to go. So immediately, he wrapped up in Vrindavan, he finished his translation printing, went to get his passage on Jaladu, and he left for the west. And on the ship, it's so firm, his conviction in his Guru Maharaj's order. He wrote a very, very beautiful prayer. And in that prayer, he's telling Krishna, Krishna Bhai, if you want to get punya, if you want to get blessings, then you're going to have to get the blessings of Srimati Radhika. How are you going to get that? My Guru Maharaj is a very, very dear servant of Srimati Radhika. And I'm acting. I've left Vrindavan. I've left the Lordship, Shri Radha Damodar. I'm leaving on his instruction. So if you want to get her blessings, you're going to have to support me. You're going to have to make my mission a success. Like this, he's instructing Krishna. Such an amazing intimate relationship. And such amazing nishtha in his Guru Maharaj. And when he got to America, seeing the ghastly skyline, and understanding the mood of the people there, completely in the modes of passion and ignorance. So he said, I think you must have a plan, otherwise why would you have brought me here? But I don't know, I'm completely helpless. I don't have bhakti. They call me Bhakti-Vedanta. I don't have any bhakti, and I don't have any Vedanta. But I do have strong faith in the chanting of the holy names. So you make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. Completely dependent, totally powerless, helpless. He said, we started this movement in a helpless way, in a hopeless way. He said when he got off the ship, he didn't even know which way to turn. But he just relied on Krishna, completely relied on Krishna. And he acted as the agent of Krishna. He set a wonderful example. He always stood for Vedic principles. Other swamis had come to the West. They started eating with knife and fork, wearing pants, all these things. He said, I'll never do. He ate with his hands. He always wore robes. As Actually, one time he wrote to Gopal Krishna. He said, if need be, for preaching, I will also wear a suit. But he never did. His disciples did. The Bhaktivedanta Institute devotees, I was a member of Bhaktivedanta Institute just before Srila Prabhupada left. So we were dressed in suits. The devotees were making fun of us. They said, oh, they look like Mormons. So one day they were talking to Gurudev, Prabhupada, I saw in the conversation book. So somebody was saying, oh, the scientists are wearing suits. They look, the Prabhupada said, yes, they look very elegant. So he was prepared to change. He was setting an example, but he was prepared to change. He taught by his example. He was so expert at cooking. He was so expert at dressing deities without any sewing. He would tie knots. Because Shiva Vigraha and Radha Nityananda, we heard yesterday. He's expert at dressing Shiva Vigraha, Shri Radha and Krishna, not only deities, in the mandir. He could take a whole pile of chapatis, put butter on the top, or ghee on the top, and then bzzz, like that, and all of them would be buttered. He was so expert. One time, he was with his disciples, it was Ekadashi. So he wanted Ekadashi chapatis with buckwheat flour. And his disciples said, Srila Prabhupada, it's impossible to make them puff. So Prabhupada marched into the kitchen. He put on the first chapati. He put it on the flame, and it didn't puff up. And the disciples sniggered. And then Prabhupada did the next chapati. It puffed up perfectly. He turned around and slung it in the face of the disciple. So he was very expert, cooking, practicing, deity worship, preaching, writing, everything by his own example. He never led from behind, he led from in front. Everyone was caught along in his slipstream. Kirtan. He was also very funny. So many jokes. Our Gurudev said he couldn't live without joking. One time, one lady came, lady reporter. She got a very short skirt, a big fur hat on. So she said, why do you shave your heads and wear long robes? He said, oh, you like to keep your head warm and your legs cool, but we like to keep our heads cool and our legs warm. It takes a cool head to understand Krishna consciousness. He had a great vision. We've heard. He knew that he was going to be the one who spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, but he didn't know how. He didn't know how it would happen. One lecture, he said, was the appearance of his Guru Maharaj. That's when he said, we started in a helpless way, in a hopeless way. He said, who knew there would be all these temples? Who knew there would be all these books, all these devotees? This is all Krishna's mercy. So he depended completely. But he had this vision, like Bhagavad Maharaj said. He had an external vision, how Krishna consciousness would spread all over the world, and he had an internal vision, how we could love Krishna. And he drew us into this. He drew us into this vision, that we were going to spread Krishna consciousness, and we were going to love Krishna. He engaged us. He was so brilliant. When he first came, he said, so you should chant 64 rounds. The devotees said, we can't do that. He said, look, I chant 32. And the devotees came back and said, Swamiji, we can't chant 32 rounds either. All right, chant 16 minimum. And then he made a whole program of strong engagement. Morning program. Get up early, Mangalarti, Japa, lecture, Kirtan, Tulsi Kirtan, Prasadam. And then going out on the streets. In the early days, they would go out on the streets 6-8 hours a day, Harinam, chanting Hare Krishna in ecstasy. Ecstasy. If you see the videos, you can see how much taste they had for the holy name. I hardly see it now. I wish I could get that taste. Book distribution, preaching, printing, so many practical tasks. Because he knew we were very, very passionate. Very lazy as well. So he got us off our backsides, and then he engaged us in strong activity, and by association, and by this strong program of activity, gradually, he brought our consciousness up. He was always encouraging. He gave love to everybody. He appreciated everybody. One devotee, came to Rath Yatra. Srila Prabhupada was sitting on the car, but he was throwing out sweets to the crowd. So she got sweets. 2 years later, she joined. She was in the temple. And Srila Prabhupada looked at her. He said, just see, you were just getting sweets in the Rath Yatra, and now you're here devotee wearing a sari. And so much love, especially in the beginning, when very much for his lady disciples also. What was her name? Himavati. She sent him a Swami cap. And also, one of his disciples, those lady disciples, also sent him a gold ring. So he said, oh, I'm wearing the cap and it fits very nicely just to my head. He glorified Govinda Dasi for bringing Tulsi, actually Srimad Bhagavatam, for bringing Tulsi to the West and growing Tulsi. Everybody felt loved and appreciated by him. My godbrother Bhagavat Prabhu, one time he was standing just like in the doorway. Prabhupada looked at him, head to toe. And he goes, And he felt completely appreciated, completely accepted. When he came to Nairobi, every day, somebody told me you should do the same service for him every day. So every day I offered him a flower. And at the end, when he was just driving up, there was a gravel path, and the car was just going slowly. And I had one last flower. I ran after the... I remember Shashini had stolen the flower that I had my eyes on. I had to find another one. I ran after the car, and just on the side that Prabhupada was there, Brahmananda Maharaja was there. He leant over and he wound down the window. And Prabhupada was sitting such a smile. He held out his hands and I just dropped the flower in his hands. He gave me such a smile. For years after, all the philosophy, everything I ever heard from him, but the thing that I really, really remembered was that smile. He gave morning walks. He was instructing the devotees, encouraging the devotees, cutting down the misapprehension. He was very innovative. He was very daring, and at the same time, he preserved the Vedic culture. He kept the essentials of the Vedic culture, but he changed what had to be changed. And he got chastised so much. 16 rounds instead of 64 rounds. Giving Brahmin threads to Westerners. You spoil the Hindu religion. One time he was in India, and a whole group of Brahmanas that came up. They were chastising. He just stood with his head hanging down. He didn't say anything. But they're going on and on and on. And in the end, they ran out of steam, and then they just left. So he came into so much heavy criticism. Criticism also from his godbrothers. They didn't appreciate what he was doing. They couldn't believe that anyone could take Krishna consciousness to the West, and that he did something that nobody could even believe was possible. They had a discussion before he left. Then how that it was possible that Prabhupada's message could be taken to the West. They lived like animals there. And after the discussion, somebody said to Prabhupada, you really think that someone will take Prabhupada's message to the West? Prabhupada said, yes. But don't worry, it won't be you. So Srila Prabhupada, now it's his Transcendental Disappearance Day. And he said, I will know how you love me by how you cooperate together to spread this mission. And Srila Gurudev, he's repeating this instruction. He wants us to cooperate. We have so many brilliant individuals in this Sangha. Brilliant individuals who've been with Srila Prabhupada, brilliant individuals who've been with Srila Govinda Maharaj, brilliant individuals who've had so much association with our beloved Srila Gurudev. So it's very important, very essential. The destiny of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is in this Sangha. Who else? It has to be Vaishnavas. Amongst the Vaishnavas, it has to be Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because they have the mercy and the power to go out into the world. And amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our Srila Prabhupada, he was the one who showed how to make a worldwide mission. And amongst his disciples, who has the energy and the power and the grace, except those who are associated with our beloved Srila Gurudev? But to make this a reality, we'll have to cooperate in a new and very wonderful way. So I'm praying that I will be able to get some little service to the lotus feet of my beloved Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Gurudev, and that I can associate with wonderful devotees and help to make a very, very glorious new phase in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So now we've completed the speakers for this morning's session. There is going to be a continuation beginning here in the temple room at 10 o'clock. We'll have some little bit of kirtan, and then more speakers will speak until the midday, when we'll have the arti and feast. We're going to have the Pushpanjali at this time. I have a couple of announcements before that.